how do I transition my dog to raw dog food? How do I introduce my dog to raw dog food? I'm getting about adult dogs, 6 years old, 15 years old, puppies, 8, 9, 10 weeks old. Folks, check this out. This video right here, I'm gonna try to keep it short, right? But this video right here is just for you guys. So, check this out. When first introducing your dogs to raw, right? There's two preferred methods that I recommend, right? First and foremost, let me put this out there, right? I'm no dog nutritionist, right? I'm not at all. I'm not a veterinarian or anything like that. So any information that I'm putting out there, consult with a veterinarian, consult with a dog nutritionist, and go from there. I'm just a guy that has Corso and been feeding these jokers raw since I haven't. But yeah, hey, so check this out to answer you guys' questions. What I got here, right? I got a turkey-based mix right here from Corso, which is formerly known as top quality dog food. Now, I've been dealing with these guys since I had my adult dogs, Tony and Pepper as puppies. And that's going on close to 3 years now. And so, yeah. So, when you guys want to introduce your dogs to raw dog foods, two things to consider is how you're going to do it, right? Let me say this, right? Folks, don't complicate things. Don't make things hard for yourself out there, right? Take the route that's going to be least stressful. And so when I got my pups, right, the first method that I heard about was, hey, you want to, if they were on kibble, right? All right, feed them a certain percentage of kibble and then include a certain percentage of raw dog food in that they're supposed to eat, right? And so this particular method, right? Let's just say your puppy or your dog out there eating 4 cups of kibble, right? That's what they used to eat. So when you want to introduce raw, right? Instead of giving them 4 cups, you give them 3 cups, right? And then you just give them 1/4 of the amount that they're supposed to eat in raw dog food. And each week, you're supposed to decrease the cups of kibble while increasing the amounts of raw dog food. So when that second week come around, right? Hey, you know, again, the first week you did 3/4. That second week will be 1/2 of kibble, along with another 1/2, half, not 1/2, a half of raw dog food. And so, but no, I did not go that route. The route that I went was I fasted my dogs for 24 hours. And after that fast, I introduced raw dog food. Now, how I did it was this. I see a lot of videos out there. People they will sit there and take turkey meat, dump it in there with chicken, with beef, with duck. You got multiple protein sources in one bowl. You don't want to do that, folks. Especially when you're introducing a dog to raw for the first time. And here's the reason why. Your dog can have certain allergies to a certain type of protein source. And by dumping in different types of protein sources, right, from different types of animals, you won't know which one caused the allergy or the allergic reaction if there is one. And so here's what I recommend. Fast your dogs for 24 hours. And then that next day, right, when you're introducing raw, all right, let's start off with some clean meat. So what's the cleanest meat out there, at least from, what I think is turkey, right? All right, start your dog off with some turkey, right, for 2 to 3 days. And if your dog is doing good on turkey, all right, after that, let's go to beef. Okay, your dog doing good on beef. What we gonna do after beef after 2 to 3 days, right? Let's go to the pork, right? After 2 to 3 days after pork, where we gonna go? Let's go to duck or rabbit. But the last animal protein source I would introduce, right, would be chicken. And here's why. Most dogs out there, right, if they're gonna have an allergy to a type of animal source, it's gonna be chicken. And so I don't want you, and I'm saying that just because, hey, if your dog does have an allergic reaction to chicken, then what's next? You gotta stop feeding raw, you gotta take them to the doctor, probably stressing yourself out because now you gotta you gotta care for your dog and stuff like that. And so, but again, any allergic reaction can happen with any particular protein source, but at the end of the day, the most common one is chicken. And so, there are raw dog apps out there, right? And so when I first got my guys, right, when I first got my puppies, I had to figure out how much raw dog food I was gonna feed them. And so there's multiple apps, whether if you use the Apple Store or any other store out there that, Android may have and stuff like that. Grab your raw dog app, right? You wanna plug in your dog age and their weight. And it's gonna give you the breakdown of how much they should take in daily. right? It's gonna break it down in ounces. And so one thing you got to consider, right, is in addition to the ounces and stuff, well, what do I feed my dog? And so here it is, folks. You got to feed your dog muscle meat, right? Muscle meat is vital. You got to feed your dog a raw meaty bone, right? That bone is vital for calcium. And then you got to feed your dog the organ. It should be 10% organ. And so what I have my guys on, right? My guys are eating 80% muscle meat. They eat a 10% bone and 10% organ. And that organ is broken down where 5% of that organ is liver, and the other 5% is a secreted organ, which will just be another type of organ. But that other 5%, right, it has to be liver. Liver is high in vitamin A, and these dogs need vitamin A. Now, one thing that you don't want to do is just feed your dog one particular protein source. That's going to cause a deficiency in their system, a nutritional deficiency, right? And where your dog can sit there not getting a maximum amount of nutrition, vitamins, minerals, whatever it may be, in order for them to have a healthy life and stuff like that. And so that's why you want to constantly mix it up between the turkey, between the pork, between the beef, between the duck, the rabbit, chicken, and stuff out there. And so what I have right here, right? I've been feeding my guys Carnos, right? Actually, it was known as top quality dog food, but they just refranchised and changed their name, right? And so we've been using this product for 3 years now. These guys have been doing well on it. Now, before I went to doing this, right, I was actually going to the store and chopping it up myself. I was grabbing all the muscle meat, all the raw meaty bones and the organs and stuff, and I was cutting it up. Very time consuming, very time consuming. And so to save time, right, I just went to a manufacturer that grinded it up themselves. Saves me a ton of time. Why? Because all I got to do is thaw this bad boy out and just slit it open and toss it in the bowl. I already know how much my guys eat, right? And since I know how much my guys eat, there's really not that much calculation that I have to do. Like my male Tony, he eat 5 pounds of raw dog food. This is a 2-pounder right here. And so they come in different sizes. And so you'll have 1-pound rolls, your 2-pound rolls, and then you'll have your 5-pound rolls. And so, but yeah, and in this particular roll right here, right, I had the ground turkey in here. I have turkey heart. I have turkey bone, turkey liver, and turkey gizzard. And so when I give these guys the stuff right here, right, I also include, even though it has bone, right, I still toss in bone for these guys. And my favorite go-to bone, right, to be honest with you, my go-to bone is duck wings. And that's because there's not a lot of muscle meat on there. There's more bone content. And that's what you want with a raw meaty bone. You want more bone content. Why? Because it helps, besides getting the calcium, right, that they need from the bone, right, and the phosphorus, right? That bone helps firm up your dog's stew. If I was just to feed my guys this, right, and they go outside and when they're ready to poop and stuff like that, it's not going to be firm. It's going to be soft. And so when you give your dogs good bone content, enough good bone content, you don't want to overdo it and stuff like that. Their stews, man, they will firm up. Firm up. And when you actually know they have a good amount, right, it will literally look like charcoal. Charcoal. And you leave that thing outside for 24 hours, you pick it up, it just poofs. It turns right into dust. Literally does. I'm not even making this stuff up. It will literally crumble up. And if you pick it up, man, don't let that wind be blowing, because that thing gonna get all in your nose. I know from experience. But other than that, so yeah, you want to make sure you give your dogs good bone content, right? I see a lot of people out there with chicken quarters, right? And they're tossing their dogs chicken quarters when feeding raw dog food. I put this out there, right? When you feeding your dogs chicken quarters, right? And I see people get their dogs 1 chicken quarters, 2 chicken quarters. I'm pretty sure their dogs are still having soft or even loose stews. Here's why. when you break down the chicken quarter, right? It's more muscle meat than bone. That bone in the chicken quarter is but so much, but you're gonna have a lot more muscle meat, a lot more fat on the chicken quarter. And so my recommended raw meaty bones would be any type of wing, would be your duck necks, your chicken necks, or anything out there like that. Ribs, whatever the case may be. And so yeah. But then also, what else do we include? We toss in eggs. Eggs are good for calcium. We toss in sardines, right? Or salmon oil. And this stuff right here is vital, right? You guys we talk about healthy coats. That's one thing I hear all the time. Man, your puppies, your dogs have healthy coats. Let me tell you something. My dogs can go outside in the dirt and roll around in it, right? For days, and I ain't gotta wash them up. Their coat will still be shiny, even when it's packed with a lot of dirt on it. And people be saying, man, that coat shiny. I go, yo, my dog is dirty as heck right now. And so you want to make sure you give your dogs either salmon oil or sardines. They need the omega-3 fatty acids. It's good for the skin, right? It actually keeps their skin healthy. It keeps all the inflammation down. It even helps out if your dog's getting scars or whatever the case may be and stuff like that, right? Yo, it helps even with the healing process and stuff. Pepper just went through this phase, she had puppies and stuff like that, right? And then for a lot of female dogs out there, when they have puppies, right? What happens? They tend to stress out. What's the first thing that's happening when they're stressing out? Number one, they're blowing out their coat. In addition to their coat, right? They're starting to scratch themselves. They may get sores. They may swell up. And I mean, having guys, number one, on a raw diet, but also making sure that they're getting enough omega-3s and stuff like that definitely help out with the recovery time. And so, but yeah, so we can go ahead and get this stuff right here cracking for these guys. And so yeah, so number one thing is, folks, go out there and find you a manufacturer that you can grab raw dog food from, right? If not, go to the store, grab you a scale, make sure you got a raw app, that way you get the recommended amounts. As far as the portions that they're supposed to be eating and stuff like that, right? And you can sit there and prepare their meals for them and stuff. But we're gonna go ahead and get this started, get this right here cracked open for my guys. And I wish I could show you guys them eating, but I'm not. Not at all. And so, that right there, that's for pepper. And so that's a 2-pounder for pepper. And I'm even though Tony's eating 5 pounds, I'm just gonna hit him off with a 2-pound this morning. And stuff. And that's all I do, right? I crack it open, split it. It goes in there. Get an egg. You can get the shell. The shell is good to get. One thing, the shell has calcium in it. And also the membrane that's in there. But I'm not giving the guys the shells this morning. And we're going for the duck wings, folks. And I don't have no pumpkin, right? And the fish, I'm not gonna toss the fish out here because this stuff stinks. I'm gonna feed the guys the sardines outside. But this is how it's looking. And so, again, this has everything in it, man. You got your muscle meat, right? You got your bone in it. You got your organs in it, along with the secrety organ. I got my egg. I don't have any pumpkin. I gotta go to the store and buy some, but I always feed 1 to 2 tablespoons of pumpkin, right? It's good. It's a good source of fiber, the meat fiber, right? It's a good source of fiber. It's good on the gut. It actually helps them down with breaking food down. So make sure you give your dog something good out there for the gut. Whether, number one, definitely give them the pumpkin. Number 2, you give them a probiotic source such as non-dairy fat, plain yogurt. Make sure it has no flavors or anything like that in it, folks. But yeah, so other than that, man, Hey, you guys got any questions or anything like that, shoot me a message on Instagram. Leave a comment, leave a message and stuff. Make sure you like, you share this video. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell as well. But again, other than that, folks, right? Let me make sure I covered every single thing for you guys. Muscle meat, raw meaty bone. You want your organ, right? Make sure you got your egg. Make sure you got your omega-3 ingredient, whether if it's sardine or salmon oil, right? Make sure you're rotating the meat, right? Make sure you're rotating because you don't want them to have no nutrition deficiency. And then when starting off, start off with a protein source for 2 to 3 days. Once they've been doing good on it, go to the next one and just keep doing that until you have them on some sort of regimen. And then you can always mix it up and stuff like that. But other than that, folks, man, I'm out. Peace. These dogs are the same.